Welcome folders, and this is the second part for complex shaping. That's going to be the last part. Now, as you can tell, all the legs are done. They're just not in place because we haven't got the rest of the parts glued just yet, so that's the last minute job to basically cover the legs and get it in a nice position, however that may be, or however you want it. So it's really starting to get there. Now, these parts, I think most folders who have done this model just do it like that. I'm not entirely sure what these parts are for, so we're going to be doing this. So let's just start by gluing these parts, and then we'll get to the front claws, and then that should be us. And after that it's just try to put everything in position. In fact, where's my wee peg? So just adding glue inside this part. Just going to make sure it's fully squished before I go with the second bit. Yeah, just do this part and then we'll do the inside bits. Like so. Then the next one. I'm not going to bother gluing the inside of this part because it will soak through, and then we don't really need to glue both sides. Which is good, it'll save a bit of time. So let's do these parts, the front claws, fill the body with cotton wool, or add enough to try and get a round body, and then just force everything in place, peg it or wire it so it holds in place for a few days, and then take it all off and hopefully it stays, and then that should be us. I think I did miss a wee bit on this side. I think it's this wee gap right here. Yeah, I won't bother putting any in the middle of it because when I fold it over it'll tend to come apart. So I'll leave it like that, and then it's just the other side. and this one, and then I'll get the bits I missed. I'll just glue that up. Do it again. Right, they're both glued. I'm not entirely sure what this part is for. If Forest Coping does have this, I'm pretty sure it does because Kota added it, but most, again, just fold it down like that. Which I'll probably just do as well. Or was it that? No, it was that. So I'll probably just leave it like this, and I won't fully force it in place in case I need to adjust it, but I don't think I will. I mean, I did think that it went inside one of the legs when you were shaping it, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I'll leave it like that. If it does go in the leg, I can easily adjust it as well, so we've got time. Now that's that done, I'm going to work on the claws, or the whatever they're called. So if you look at the drawing that I drew, and it isn't fully correct, I had one large bit, then another bit, and then a big bit. We have, from the picture, why is it keep coloring? Hold it like this. So like that. So we have, first of all, one part here, and then another bit, and then another bit, and then it's the big bit, and then the two claws. So we have 3 bits instead of 2. So plan is, fold this down, and then I'll add the first crimp right here. So will be the first one right there, so that's the first part, and then the second part will be right here, and then the third part will be here, and then I did try a few times to see what variant I could get from the claw, but I think it's probably easiest to squash it and then pull out a layer and then push these parts inside, because you'll create a 3D effect, and then it's just a matter of like folding parts in to make it look curvy. So that's the plan. So I'm going to do the left hand side first because the picture is from the left hand side, so it makes sense to do that to start, and then I'll do the right one off camera. So wait there, I need to double check. So it's going to be like that. So I'm going to be pulling paper out from the top hand side, so I can't glue this part. So I'll glue here first, just so I don't screw up. Let me see. I'll be pulling this out and then hiding excess around about here. Yeah, so I'll just start a wee bit of glue right here. I'll use clear glue for this part in case I glue too much. Just a wee bit there. That's all I need. I'll use clear glue for the first couple of layers, and then wood back to the normal glue. Now we want to bring the glue all the way down to here as well, so we can start to work on that bit. Yeah, so I'll use glue for this one, the clear glue, and then that should be us. We should be safe enough to use regular glue. So I'll just double check. So let's start the side. Right, we're fine. Yeah, and I'll stop the glue up the top as well, in case I need to do anything extra for that. So I won't go too far up. Maybe a bit up there, right there. Where have I glued? There's lots of layers, so I don't think I'll be adding glue on the other side. I think I will just probably add a lot on this side so it soaks through. The reason that I'm not gluing all the way up to the top is because I'm not entirely sure how much paper I'll need to pull out at the moment. And once I figure out how much I'm going to pull out, and then once I get the result I want, I'll then go back and forth and fill in the gaps. Similar to what I did with the legs, because I wasn't sure how much paper I would pull out for the leg. So once I was happy with what I pulled out, I then went back and then filled in the gaps. So it makes it safer, rather than gluing everything and then you glue too much. Yeah, I probably will glue the other side as well. So we're already starting to see it get a lot thinner, which is great. I've only glued one side, so it'll get twice as thin when I do the next side. Hopefully. And it's just these ones here. And then the final one. There we go. So now I am going to glue all the layers on this side. Same again, I'm going to stop right here. So glue from here and then stop here. And then we will add the crimps and then see what we get. Pardon me. Now that we have glued all the left hand side on both sides, we will start to try and add these crimps to make it look normal. So first of all, the wee small one over here, I can lower this one a wee bit, it's a wee bit too high. Let's just try this. Fold this over there now. I can always bring it back out if I need to. Yeah, I'll need to let the glue dry more so I can get these details more clearly. Now try here. So even like that. One, two, three. So I've got it all. Basically got the rough position, the crimps are there, so it's just a matter of, at the moment, waiting for the glue to dry so I can reinforce the creases, and then the details, and then that should be us. And I'll need to hide this part as well, probably force it down, but we'll get to that. Now we've got the general shape now. I won't add any more glue or that in here until I've pulled out the paper for this part. So once I know I'm satisfied that I've got enough paper pulled out, then I can re-glue all these parts and then really touch it up. So that's the plan. How did I do this before I started recording? I'm just double check to make sure it's the right side. So it's the top part. Yep. I mean, it'd probably be fine like that. You don't. But it's either or. It's like with the legs. When I first glued it, it was only going to be that thick, and I realised that's going to be way too thin. And then I got the idea to pull out paper, so it looks much more thicker, much more lifelike. So it's good to try something different. I think I just pulled it out here. over there heads at you. Much better. Let me see how far I can have it down here. Let me just pull it all out first. And that's way too big. Definitely didn't do that. I don't think I did it for the right side. Just the left. Yeah, that's what I've done. And then doing that we get slightly bigger, which is perfect. Can work with that. And I could curve it here and then make it round in a way. So I've not pulled out too much. Let me see how much. It's always good to take note of so you can do it the same on the other side. Half a centimetre. So easy to remember. So we're going to go with that, half a centimetre. Now let me try and, can't really force it. In fact, what I'll do is, I will glue underneath this part with clear glue so it can hold this part in shape, so we don't really need to worry if it comes undone. You don't need to worry too much if it's not neat or nice or messy. Okay, so I'm going to just re-put these crimps roughly in place first so I can see what's happening. It's going to come round, round, curve, and then I can like fold this part down, fold the bottom part up, and then give it a nice curve. So I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is, off camera, I'm going to retouch up and glue all these parts that I missed previously, and then the same on this side, and then we'll add some finishing details, or maybe not full details here until it's dry enough, and then it's repeated on this side. So I'm going to do this first. Now all the layers have been retouched up, have been re-glued. I'm just going to add the crimps again, and I won't be able to fully add the detail until the glue dries a lot better. I get all the nice curves in and such. That looks good to me. Again, once it fully dries, I'll be able to really touch it up. So in the meantime, we've got this. Now, let's try and do something with this. The idea was if I folded this part, I'm just going to do the light first. Maybe not. Yeah, that'll work. Then I can just glue this part and cover it. Oh God. Yeah, I've still not glued this part yet, but once I glue this, it will be much easier. Something like that. So that's basically that. What I'm going to do is do the same on this one, retouch up these parts and then finish off these parts, and then whatever else we need to do for this front part, and then stuff the body with cotton wool, and then that's it. Now we have this. I've got the front claws in position, legs are in position, body's in position, tail's in position. Now it's not fully in place yet. I'm just going to touch up these front little parts. I'm just going to use some clear glue. I originally wasn't going to plan to do this, but I'll make it slightly easier to hold them in position when it's all done. And then we can fill the body with cotton wool and see how that turns out. And then this side. Yeah, enough. And then, am I able to get any underneath? There's a few spots here. Again, just try and get every wee bit so that all the layers combine, and then it makes it easier to shape. Bring it closer so it doesn't go as far away. Now it's much better. And it'll be much better once it dries. It'll be a lot more stiffer. And then it'll hold the detail better. And there we go. I think these parts get curved, I'm not entirely sure. But I won't do it right now because I'm not really sure yet, so I've got plenty of time. Even if this dries fully, then I can easily add the detail at the end, so there's no rush for that. Right, so that's that done. Basically everything's done. I'll refix all the position. Now, the fun part is get rid of this glue. Cotton wool. Basically, do I have a pen? Oh yeah, there's one right there. Let me show you. So cotton wool is basically optional. This model is finished as it is, other than reposition the parts. So cotton wool again is optional. Just imagine that I cut this in half and then we'll look at it from this angle. We'll basically have this pinwork. Got the bottom, and then from this, I'm just going to look at it from this angle. It comes up, down, up, down. So it's basically from that. That's what it looks like when I look at it. What we're trying to achieve is something that's a bit more natural. So we're going to try and go from this to this, and that just depends Depends how much you add, you can get it bigger, smaller, whatever a scorpion looks like, whatever type of scorpion you're making or whatever model it is, you can add as much or as little. So we're trying to go from this to that. So that's a more natural, rounder look. But another thing to note is, with models like this, we have a pleat here which has 2 layers, and then this is 2 layers, but this part right here is 1 layer. This part is 2 layers, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So the parts that have 1 layer are obviously thinner, so the cotton wool has a more chance of pushing through. So what that means is you'll see the cotton wool through these layers, which we do not want, because it's off-putting to the eye. If you look at a scorpion and see, oh, it's black, but it's got white stripes, I don't think it really looks that good. So what you can do is, to prevent that, get another piece of paper that is obviously the same type of paper, or I did try to dye this black, didn't work out, all stuck together, so it didn't work. But if that worked, that'd have been perfect if it dyed the black. But a piece of paper, the exact same, cut in the rough shape, like that. So what I'm going to try and do is insert this underneath this, and then when I add the cotton wool, I don't need to worry about it showing through the layers. I'll have a picture on the screen of someone else that made this, that I believe stuffed it, and you can see the results that happen from the cotton wool. You can see it through coming through the model. So we're going to need to basically undo all these, so stretch all out. So we have the pocket here. Plan is, insert this, put some cotton wool in the bottom or the top, pardon me, get a nice round-ish look, and then I'm not too sure if I'll add any on the bottom. I do like it as it is, like that. Adds nice definition, but we'll wait and see. Maybe I'll add some and then go from there if it looks good or not. So let's get that out of the road. So hopefully this works. Again, if it's too big, you can easily trim it up. So this is the exact same paper, just I cut a square, I folded it in half, and then I used clear glue, just little dabs on the outside, and stuck it together, and then trimmed a wee bit. I already trimmed it before I glued it, so it should be nicely stuck. And then we're just going to try and insert this in here, so I'm not sure what the best way is. I want to get it under all the pleats, because there is pleats right here which we don't want to try and get it stuck under. So you may need to just first of all, oh, the light is not the best from this angle. I'll get my finger in there, try and open up. Obviously when you do this you will more than likely disturb everything, so if you've got the model in position already, then it won't be after this. Yeah, let's just try and do this again, maybe too big or not, we shall find out. So we're going to need to put it in and then lift it up so it goes in this side. Was it moving too much? I just don't want it to be blurry. Let me trim it a little bit, just to make sure. Yeah, I'll trim the side that hasn't been cut. Or that has been cut. Don't do it too much because I can always trim, but if I trim too much then I'll need to do this all again. And I did not show this in the last complex shaping, just because I wanted to make sure I got it right, and then I had a few people message me saying they're disappointed because they'd have loved to have seen it, so I'm showing it for this. So it may take a few attempts. Yeah, so I may need to cut it a bit smaller. And this is just a trial and error process. I'm just going to keep doing it until you feel you've got it. Missed the clean one, yep. Perfect. Now I'm going to try and lift up this part. It needs to go in more to the back, like that. And just try and neaten it underneath. Don't worry if it's not perfectly neat because you won't see it. But again, always try and make it as neat as possible. I may need to pull it up the way. Right. This tool's got a curve. Just push this underneath. Again, there's probably extra there, but it doesn't matter, I'm just going to force it in. And then just have a quick look. Looks fine on this side. So yeah, so there's a wee bit extra here. But I've just hidden that. And don't worry if it moves about, it'll naturally move about. You could glue it, but I wouldn't risk that. In case you need to take it out for some reason. And if you've glued it in there and then you've stuck it to this edge, and then it'll be hard to remove. So we have that. It's in place. I'm happy with it. I'm just going to have a double check, a triple check to make sure I've got it right. Again, all this stretching on the model is just going to make it look weird. It's actually not that bad, but I'll touch it all up. Right, so cotton wool. Now, how much cotton wool to use? There is no right or wrong answer. Just yeah, it's off the screen. Just try a wee bit. You can always take away. Now basically you want to just naturally spread it if possible. I need another set of tweezers to make it easier to rip it up. I mean, it's like performing surgery on a model. So what I mean by rip it up is the cotton wool is basically in the model. What I'm doing is grabbing it and then spreading it. It's easier to spread it this way, so I'm basically grabbing it and then just pulling it apart. And then naturally doing that, it's a much wider compared to like this, so it spreads out more, covers more surface area. So you can just basically just got to do this until you're happy with it. Now, boom, we have a much more rounder, natural look, I think. Looks really good. Yeah, I'll add a tiny bit more, just at the top, just to see how it looks. So let's take some of this. Just add a wee bit. Spread it all across the body as well. And we can always add, you can always take away, so don't worry if you've added too much. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with this. Just push it down a wee bit more to the right. Much better. So when we get the nice curve, just try to picture how it's going to look. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm not going to add any on the bottom because I like this definition, this texture. I really like it like that actually. I don't want it to be puffed out as well, in a sense. Maybe you could glue that. See, it wraps really nicely. And because this part is where it's opened up, can't really wrap it around as much. So I probably just need to stick it like that. And then fold it over. And I'll get a really nice, neat underside. But that is basically it. That is basically the process of shaping a complex model and Kota Lmai's forest scorpion. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and if you learned anything from it, then that is awesome as well. What I'm going to do now is finish touching up all the details, and then I'll get pictures taken, which I will show after this clip, and then I'll change all the thumbnails for the models as well, and then we can go to the next one. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching.